frequency. Talking truth, talking change, talking all that's real. With Francis Pierre at the wheel. Politics to faith, the latest trend. We talk it out from end to end. And if you've got something to share, pick up the phone, turn it up. Real FM, ride the frequency. Talking truth, talking change, talking all that's real. With Francis Pierre at the wheel. Politics to faith, the latest trend. We talk it out from end to end. And if you've got something to share, pick up the phone, turn it up. Real FM, ride the frequency. Talking truth, talking change, talking all that's real. With Francis Pierre at the wheel. Politics to faith, the latest trend. We talk it out from end to end. And if you've got something to share, pick up the phone, turn it up. Real FM, ride the frequency. Talking truth, talking change, talking all that's real. With Francis Pierre at the wheel. Politics to faith, the latest trend. We talk it out from end to end. And if you've got something to share, pick up the phone, turn it up. Midday talk.
Welcome brothers, welcome sisters, welcome to our program On Target. And as usual, as soon as we start this program, you qualify, you're ready, you have the medium, pick up the telephone, participate with us, or you can make your post and we will definitely engage it. This program is your program. We're giving you an opportunity to express your views and opinion. We cut out ourselves in the middle of a sentence to accommodate you. What you have to say is much more important than anything else. And we don't like rules. And you could disagree with us. You could fire a low blow at me. Nothing is wrong with that. We want to encourage our people to keep conversation going on and be tolerant. You will always hear us objecting against intolerance. We don't want people to promote violence. Too much violence in the world, all over the world. And we want our leaders to tone down and give our people a chance to hold discussion in our own homes. I want to encourage the leaders in the house. Listen. Even the little children, listen to them sometime. Hear what suggestion. Encourage them to make suggestions. It's very important. The number to call is 4420175. We on Real FM 91.9, 91.5. We also on We Noise FM in Brooklyn, New York. And we encourage you to subscribe to the program, share the program, like the program, tell your friends about it. No preamble, punch. Today, a number of things is happening in the world that we need to speak about. Donald Trump, and you know from past I agree with a number of policies of Donald Trump. But Donald Trump wants to accept a jet either from Saudi Arabia or one of the other countries. And that is unacceptable. And voices in America should cry out loud and clear and tell Donald Trump that is wrong. If the Americans have a jet, they buy a jet for you. But you're not supposed to be accepting a jet or plane or expensive gifts from other countries. That look and smells like bribery. You hear us repeatedly call on Deacon Mitchell to surrender the gifts that he got to the Integrity Commission. And today we expect the Integrity Commission to make it public. You have taken too long to act. So for people to believe you, you must make it public. When Deacon Mitchell and other senior ministers of the NDC is accepting gifts from third parties, we believe that is bribery. Particularly the fact that Deacon Mitchell himself said that he was paying for good relationship. Anytime you're paying for good relationship, you could be seriously accused of participating in bribery. And when your leadership in your country could openly take bribe, crap or smoke your pipe without tobacco. We're in a unique position in Grenada, you know. We have had the transition of leadership in NNP. Dr. Kit Mitchell was there for many decades. And when he won the election from Mr. Blaze, Mr. Blaze never accused him of winning the election unfairly. I believe Mr. Blaze was disappointed that he ran for the post. So the action taken by Mr. Blaze then was wrong. He was a poor loser. He took the unilateral decision to form the National Party. I don't think even Ben Jones was involved in that decision. Mr. Blaze took that decision for himself. And those who lost, emotion was running around still, and they supported the National Party. We have a situation where NNP had an election. Our brother Peter David did not contest the election. He was nominated to contest. But a couple hours before the election, he pulled out. Now, we must not close our eyes to what is going on. The writing does be on the wall. So, we must make certain we see the writing. Peter David could have formed a political party immediately and say, I have issues with NNP and I'm forming my own political party. And nothing is wrong with that. That is democracy. But Peter, the question is, what movement you are hiding behind? What movement? If you want to form a political party, nothing is wrong with that. You have issues, irreparable damage with NNP and are forming your own political party. But when you have a movement, what is the cause? Is it personal? You see, we have to be careful, you know, because we don't want another political party in the country that promotes vengeance. We already have NDC that never gave the people the impression that it was not genuine. The people vote for NDC because they offer newness. They claim these two political parties was wrangling too much. So we want a new group that was never in politics before. The NDC made a party for the elders. They retired them. And they presented themselves as completely new. And people voted for them on that grounds. Now they look bitter. They're full of hate. And they're on a vengeance trail. I have spoken about it for 2 years. Now you're seeing much more aggressiveness on the ground. Because NDC militants, they're in charge. And it seems they want to take on anybody who is critical of the NDC. They cannot defend NDC because they know what people saying is the truth. So they want to intimidate them or behave violently against them. That is not a good sign. And it's in that capacity I've been asking Peter David question. Peter, the men around you, they want you to answer to, They wouldn't ask you. Maybe they accept you as a leader, but I think you should tell them, and I asked about 3 questions before. So I'll remind you today. One of them is the Angola option. We had a situation in Grenada where the Prime Minister, Maurice Bishop, and many cabinet members was executed in the most brutal form. We had a situation that prior to the execution, and Peter, you would know, it is circled. Information is there wrong that Ewart Lane wanted to move against the Bishop faction and execute them. Because he felt the Bishop faction militant arm wanted to execute his group. So guns was drawn. Peter David, you have a responsibility. You have an obligation to the men who is around you, to the entire country in Grenada and the rest of the Caribbean, to explain to our people the Angola option. You know what it is. Some people argue that principle is principle. And Maurice Bishop died because he refused to accept joint leadership. And they claim principle is principle. I am advancing the view that the Angola option was a significant factor in it. You have been extremely quiet, Peter, on all controversial issues. And I would have never asked you that if you were not the leader of a political party. But today, you are leading a political party. You have a movement going on. What the movement is all about? Is it a movement for vengeance? Is it a movement because you felt you have been personally affected? Is it a movement to get even? Is it a movement to deal with the peasants? Tell us, Peter. I ask this question, but I also ask you the question about COVID-19. You see, around that time, the politicians, Keith Mitchell, Mr. Steele, Emmeline Pierre, Miss Modeste, was perhaps the most vocal in the media, begging people to take vaccine. Peter David, you did not publicly declare or help when they was begging to take vaccine. You're a senior person, and your voice had weight. Why? I have not seen no public evidence that you took vaccine. I know you took. And I know you have the public evidence. Post it now. Let the public know you took the vaccine. You see, Peter, it was important because the NDC heavyweights was campaigning in a defiant mood, encouraging people not to take vaccine. The only voice from the opposition was Ray Roberts. Ray Roberts was the only voice that we could have considered in the opposition that was saying to people, take the vaccine. I'm not certain if Randall Robinson was too. I want to believe he was. Maybe he make a little noise. So I don't want to leave him out. A man of your caliber, a man of your stature, a man of your influence, why did you stay quiet? I ask that question to you. You see, Peter, is important. One of the challenges your own supporters have, your own militant supporters have, deep down they're worried you did not participate in any issue you considered controversial. Both while you was in NDC and while you was in NNP, you tried to avoid controversial issues. But today you're leading a political party. You have not declared a political party yet. All of us know it's a foregone conclusion. You're liming around with a movement. And that is why we ask this question. The movement, you need to explain to these individuals why. The third question I asked was the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Because what took place in Grenada could have been considered as the worst crimes in Grenada after slavery and colonialism. Over 3,000 people were imprisoned without charge, without trial, without an opportunity to defend themselves. People were castrated. Over 300 Rastafarians was placed in the cow pen. The Rastas call it the cow pen. They were treated very badly. And we have the death of Miss Noel in Burgove, executed. In addition to that, on the day, on the 4th, you had this horrendous murder. People was asking for vengeance and imitating Mandela in South Africa and the voice of Mahatma Gandhi. Kit Mitchell in Grenada initiated the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. They said, let us have the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Let people speak. Record for history's sake what they say. And then let's move on in peace. I agree with it too. So much injustice was done that people felt if you try to get justice, there'll be more bloodshed. Peter, did you contributed to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission? You see, you is no ordinary soldier, Peter. You was an educated person. And you were in the leadership role. So a man of your caliber, who believe that you're still interested in politics, the question I ask, why didn't you participate in the Truth and Reconciliation Commission? You see, I'm not certain that your heart is still not bitter and full of vengeance. Because you would have been angry with those who you believe contributed to the fall of the revolution. You be angry with NNP. So is your heart full of vengeance? Maybe you could help us, Peter, if you tell us why you did not participate in the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Because I thought that was the best deal. Let us sit down in an open forum. Let us speak. Let history record what we have to say. And let's move on. Do you have bitter, angry feeling? And that movement is to exact justice? You see, if Deacon, nothing was wrong with Deacon, nothing was done to Deacon, but it could well be that the people who influenced Deacon planted hate in his heart. You, Peter, you need to tell us. You need to answer the question. That is the 3 questions I have already asked. Today I will introduce the 4th one. Remember, the number to call is 442-0175. Remember, you could interrupt me at any time as I speak, because what you have to say is much more important than what I'm saying. We in Grenada is responsible for the quality of leaders we produce. If it's money you want, don't go in politics. If your main aim is to amass wealth, don't go in politics. If your objective is for prestige and status, don't go in politics. If it is fame, you shouldn't go in politics. And our people need to find out the people who are putting up themselves now as candidates for the NNP, the NDC, and for Peter in the movement. What drives them? Is it hate? Is it vengeance? Is it individuals who dabbles in their cult? Is it individuals who believe in bribery? We must ask this question. If we don't, we will pay a heavy price. Our children will be burdened by the selfishness of the leaders that gone before them. We have to find out. We are living on this earth today. Some of us in the departure lounge and some of us in the arrival lounge. But we have to try to make certain that the leaders we have politically is not there for selfish reasons. Is not there because they want vengeance. Is not there because they have been personally aggrieved. Peter, you found yourself again in Parliament. The most senior person in Parliament. The most senior politician in Parliament. That is after the Speaker of the House, who seemed that day he was acting as a 12 man. And the opposition, led by Pierre, decide to protest and walk out of the house. Peter, you said nothing. Why? That is significant to me. You was the most senior person in the house then. Why you stayed quiet? You seem to have a history of avoiding all controversial issues. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hello?
Go right ahead, caller.
Yes, Mr. Pierre. Mr. Pierre is all of the above. It's all of the above. Knowing him, he could only talk stupidness to people that genuflect to him. But his time is coming now. 2.5 years ago. 2 years ago. 2 years, 2 weeks. It's a waste of time. And it's not only he. Not only he. Nazim Burke, Richard Duncan, Andrew Bernard, and Dennis Cornwall. When we hold them, leave the key on the door. When we hold them, we put in all of them. We're going and build a teaching hospital, they ain't building that. That ain't going to come true. That is not going to come true. People could feel how they want to feel, but when we hold them, we're going to lock them up. Have a good one, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, we always need to find out where our leaders going.
We're locking them up. The plain Taliban. Tell them you have more Taliban outside than who inside. Jack it away. Because the nasty that they get on with there, that's why Donald Trump could talk is garbage. And they go down there, you see, like a wolf in a sheep thrown in there. Don't worry. Waste the time.
All right, caller. Thank you.
All right.
You see, it is important. It's important that we ask questions. Right now, the movement must know. They must know if they follow in a leader and the main aim of the leader is vengeance. They must know, Peter. Every time a controversial issue come out, you did not show leadership. You had an opportunity in the House when the Speaker was blatantly biased. The Speaker invited the Minister of Finance to close the debate. The Minister of Finance was ready and prepared and stood up and immediately started to respond to the defenders of the opposition leaders that was attacking the debate. He immediately started to deal with it. The Speaker of the House interrupted him and did something in the House that we have no evidence was ever done in any parliament in the Commonwealth. He called the Speaker for a private caucus, a secret exchange. Judges do that in the court when they want to discipline the defense or the defending, the two lawyers, but not in Parliament. The Minister of Finance returned to the podium and continued to close the debate. The Speaker of the House interrupted him again. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre. Mr. Pierre, you speaking about hate? I just hear caller. He threatened to jail NDC players. That is hate. For what? He trying to jail them for what? Mr. Pierre, Peter David was in the party for 10 years. You never asked this question. Why they destroy your mother what? You couldn't speak, you couldn't ask this question. But now you come in and ask the question. You have time to ask it and you don't ask it. Mr. Pierre, let me tell you something. I listen to the member from Kaku, from LMP, and I'm disappointed in him. I am really disappointed in him. Mr. Pierre, I listened to the airline today. And the first 10 minutes of the program, this guy trashed the Kayak people. He called them a thief. Rascals, he called them. He says that these people come to work and they don't work in, they're scheming and they do that kind of thing and they go down. Tax that money, you know. Anybody doing that, them is thief. So he called the Kayak people thief. Them is, I go call them so too. Them is thief. So pray you have a good day.
Yes, scholar. Scholar said why I never felt it necessary to ask Peter David before. He was not the leader of any political party. And now he is leading a political party. And if after he immediately declared like Blaze that he have a political party, nobody can be angry with him. But it's in our interest to know what the movement is about. It's our interest to know if it's a movement for vengeance. We have to be careful in Grenada, you know. Otherwise we will kill one another. This government in power is preaching hate. They're preaching vengeance. I spoke about it repeatedly for 2 years. It's getting worse on the ground. You have clashes. You have incidents with the police. We need to speak out against these things to avoid it continuing. Yes, scholar, welcome. Yeah. So yes. So Peter, being the senior person in the house, why you did not speak? Did you agree with the action of the speaker? It appears that the speaker had a third person dictating to him. Why do I say that? The speaker asked the Minister of Finance to close the debate. The Minister of Finance was ready, prepared, and started. The speaker interrupted the Minister of Finance and had a secret caucus with him. Then the Speaker of the House called for a recess. And based upon the information we hear, the recess was with the members of the Parliament, including members of the opposition. And they agreed that the Minister of Finance should continue to close the debate. And when he returned to close the debate, the Prime Minister stood up and decided he would close the debate. We have never seen this thing happen in the Commonwealth before. The opposition protested, and rightly so. And the Speaker of the House, I would say, was not very accommodating to the opposition. He was practically insulting them. So they decided to walk out of the house. Peter David, as a senior person in the house, you have never told us what is your position. Speak. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Good afternoon.
Yes, Mrs.
Mr. Pierre, that man always calling and disrespecting. If you mouth so, all kind of thing. Why have to get like this? Why the man don't stop that? The truth is opinion, or the truth does joke. So anytime he hear you talking and talking facts, it hurting him. So you have to come with all kind of things to see how he could defend. This morning, Senator Cox was on to the point. He called. The man, JTC, what he was saying, make no sense. He cut him. And he tells Senator Cox, go ahead. Somebody called from overseas, diaspora. This guy always does that when the opposition is on the air. He said somebody call him and tell him to ask Nolan Cox what he doing for the people in Carrico. 20 how much years they did and they don't do nothing, and now he come in and talk about the minister of they're doing nothing. What have they done? Mr. Pierre, Nolan Cox are not the minister, he are the senator. Ways where he can help, he help, but he can do every all. What they have to do, what the minister have to do, they have to do. This morning somebody call and say they get pictures from Carrico, and it is a shame. So many people under trampoline steel, and we coming for the rainy season. So what they have to talk about? They're not talking about it. None of them can talk to the Prime Minister. None of them can talk to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is doing wrong, they abide. They can speak. On the NNP, 23 years, NNP. It's time to stop about NNP and go ahead and do your work. Time to stop about the NNP. They are not in position no more. You are out there. Go ahead and do all the work and forget about the NNP. When somebody call and make a contribution, I don't have to trying to tell the opposition all kind of things. All kind of things I have to say. When the ruling party to the point, nobody has nothing to say. Everything they call in and say nice. Everything they say. Why we are so damn hypocrite in Grenada? We have to stop it. The ruling party, the past administration is not there anymore. It's the acting Prime Minister is in position, so they have to do what they have to do. And for about NNP, there was 20 years, there was 30 years, there was 40 years, they do not know. Well, okay, they do not know. NBC, you know, do. And let people say what you're doing. Don't talk about NNP, they're out of office now. That's going on too much. They have to stop it. After no copy.
Yes, and we as a people have to be tolerant. Is the key. I test on the road, it's not easy. Individuals cussing you on the road because they hearing you on the radio. Government is not giving you things that's supposed to come to you because you're on the radio. People are threatening to close down radio station. One individual said they beat him up. And there are too much of these incidents because of politics. And that's why I'm tolerant on radio. And that's why I encourage people to exchange ideas and speak. And that's why I'm calling on Peter David. You are the leader of the movement. What is the cause? Is it hate? Is it vengeance? Are you angry and upset because you did not get your way within the last party? And now you feel you have to equalize? We must know. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon to you, Mr.
Yes,
Pierre.
ma'am.
And good morning and good afternoon to Grenada, Carrico, and Petit Matnik. Okay? I was listening to the point this morning too, concerning Mr. Cox. And Mr. Pierre, I live in Carrico. And I could tell you, these people want Cox to tell lies. But he's not a liar. Because you always have to speak the truth. Because the truth will face you one day. And when the truth faces you, you know what will happen. But they are accustomed telling lies, and they are accustomed making up lies. I live in Carrico. During the time of the hurricane, we didn't have no water. The magma was going around. Even the minister of Carrico and Petit Matnik going around and giving people water. We're not far from the road, but we just have to climb up a little hill. And they never look at us. They never consider us. Remember, I had a surgery and I couldn't do much because Mr. Cox come and he helped us. He helped us. He brought 2 cases of water for me and my husband. I was so grateful because we didn't have anything. We never have anything to drink, right? I don't want to no sweet drink because I'm diabetic. But Mr. Cox came. But the minister for Carrico and Petit Matnik, they was choosing yellow who to give it. They choosing yellow. and they was going around giving people water, but nobody considered to come up the hill. The only person who came is Mr. Cox and the Samaritan Post. They are the ones who came and gave me water. And I was so grateful, and he told me to call him anytime. Unfortunately, we never had no phone, right? So what did they want Mr. Cox to say when he gets to the point? He wasn't speaking no lies. He was telling the truth what is happening. And if you take a trip to Carriacou, come and see. You'll see some houses exposed, and you see toilets. You see toilets outside. They got no roof. They got no partition, nothing. Carriacou is still in a very, very bad way. There is a young lady comes from England, and she always comes down every year to Grenada, Carriacou. And when she comes, she says, "Oh my God, what they were saying in Grenada, I thought the place was better than that." But she says it's not true. Look at this. Look at the condition of Carriacou. So tell people to stop and wheel again and take a good look and stop trying to intimidate Mr. Cox, because he's not a fighter, but his fake truth comes from his mouth. So, Mr. Pierre, have a wonderful day. God bless you.
Yes, scholar. And we have to be tolerant. And this is my objection to the NDC leadership, because I believe they are inciting violence in the country. And I speak because they are political neophytes. They are new to politics. And maybe they don't know our past. But Grenada is not a place you must encourage violence. You must not encourage political violence in the country. Deacon Mitchell, Claudia Joseph, and other members of the NDC, based upon their actions, in my opinion, are inciting violence. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, scholar.
Mr. Pierre, I'm going up in Carriacou, and Mr. Pierre, if you see the situation of Carriacou, I can never believe how that Carriacou, the people house open out. Yeah, I see a house about 7 tanks. I see 1 tent. Mr. Pierre, the cemetery and them in Carriacou better off than them people house and them in Carriacou. And somewhere last Monday, I meet a lady. 2 of them they come out in Canada. And then I say, as the government change in Trinidad, you might end up changing down here. Same time, Mr. Pierre, people pick me up. We are in the Canada, in the NDC office, we don't, the Prime Minister doesn't take the people tax money down here and buy tickets. They make money and give him, and how every week they let and I say, and what about the people in Carriacou who don't have no shelter? Oh, the people in Carriacou, the NNP people who are calling and say that every week they're giving out 5 houses in Carriacou. That's what they're trying to say. Every week the NDC giving out 5 houses in Carriacou. I said, joke are you making? Because I went up there and I was ashamed to see how the people in Carriacou is. Well, they start arguing and things, and I just forget them, and I didn't say nothing again, because I say, you see that? Let them people stay where they see. Oh, are you there for 23 years? Keep it there for 23 years. He don't do nothing. He don't build nothing. And the poor man just come in there. He don't even have 2 good years yet. What are you want him to do? He doing good. All this work he doing. Every time he go and he come back, he bringing back money in Grenada for the people. He complaining how much money he bring back. I just say in my mind, God bless these people and them. And I just leave and I go.
The Prime Minister and his team, they lying when hospital.
Very lying people.
The Prime Minister spent $8 million of Grenada money on travel in 2 years. And Mia Mocklin Barbados spent 1.7 on travel in 7 years. So the people in the diaspora, the time for you to get this information is correct. But I speak because our country must not degenerate into political violence. And that is why I asked Peter David, you did not show leadership in the House, particularly in light of the fact that you had just left NNP What went on in the house? Being the most senior person, you should speak. Did you agree when Deacon referred to the leader of the opposition as mother hen? You see, Peter, maybe Deacon believes she is a peasant. I ask you the question. Do you consider her as a peasant? And somebody that should be treated with less respect? You see, you didn't speak in the house. You had fun. After they left the house, Deacon made statement that you should have asked him to withdraw. You was the most senior person in the house, Peter. You had a duty, you had a responsibility, you had a historical obligation to show leadership. And you did not. Were you rejoicing, Peter? Peter, are you a bitter person? The public don't know you. They say Peter is a nice man that have money. Peter is a nice man that have money. That is a statement about you. And they like you. Peter is a nice man that have money. Deacon is a man with deep contacts, deep pockets and contacts. You have never stood up, Peter. Throughout your political history, I know of no time when you stood up on any controversial issues. Even when your party needed you, like during COVID-19, I saw Mr. Steele and the Prime Minister and the Minister of Education and Miss Modest practically begging people to take vaccine. The leader of the trade union, I chastise because they took vaccine, but they never encouraged the workers in SGU to take vaccine. I believe they should have called in Pap Astafan as some reputed leader lawyer from outside of Grenada and a medical doctor to speak to the workers, to tell them the legal ramification and the consequences, and for a medical doctor to speak on behalf of the vaccine, pro or whether. They didn't. So I blame the trade union leader for the workers who lost their job in SGU. Yes, Scholar Punch.
Yes, Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, my brother.
Right. I support with you with the trade union because it seems to me that the trade union start realizing now the two main person in the trade union that was clapping behind the government and accepted the government. They get a little bit silent, and you're hearing the other side of the story now. We heard Mr. Andrew Lewis saying that he believed the government definitely trying to sabotage the union. Different strokes, no, different folks. He read a letter where he's claiming that the Attorney General is trying to advise the people not to join the workers at the airport, not to join the trade union.
Well, one might say some employers don't want the workers to join trade union. The workers have the right by the democratic means to say yea and nay.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean that the employer wrong to lobby the workers. In the same way, the union is lobbying the workers to become the bargaining, to become the representative. The employer may well feel is their right to. It so happened that the government is the employer.
Yeah, but the government does not have to demand us. So
Well, it wouldn't be demanding. They can't demand from workers.
Right.
Workers have a right of association.
yes,
But-
and if the workers want to join that union, the government cannot or should not be denying them.
But the government don't need that. The government could lobby them. The government could encourage them not to join. But the ultimate decision is theirs. Where the Minister of the Labor will go down there and run a poll, and they have to get 50 plus 1. And they become the bargaining right. But before the poll is taken, it's fair game. The employer could lobby them not to join.
But does the employer have the right to influence?
Why not? The employer have the right. What the employer doing is lobbying the workers not to join the union. But while the union is lobbying the workers to join me, and the Ministry of Labor supposed to be the most neutral party there conducting.
Well, the Ministry of Labor is headed by the Attorney General.
Yes, but the Labor Commissioner have the independence, and they are accustomed to doing with that, so they know how to function and don't take part in it. So while it is a little bit, knowing what this government give, I don't put it behind them. But it's not against the law for them to do it.
Well, we seem that it's going to backslide.
Well, eventually,
because the unions start to think differently now.
Well, eventually,
union leaders that was saying hello start to think differently.
Well, don't expect prominent support from union. Unions seek their interests.
Well, I agree.
It's true that the unions tend to more supportive of the NDC, but it doesn't mean they go argue with them all the time.
No,
and it doesn't mean that next 2 years union will support NDC again.
I don't agree with my home every time.
The unions in Grenada generally support NDC. They don't generally support NNP. In the same way, unions is to support GNP and not generally support Labour.
We hear in a rumor that Mr. Gentleman in Happy area along there ready to speak.
Well, let us ignore that rumor until he speak. Let's not waste time with that. If you're ready to speak, he ain't need nobody permission. He's a big man over 18 years, a politician who jump up and down the place, make
statements. You don't need permission, but you're looking for support to speak.
Well, you see, we can't pet these individuals, I think that is the trouble with him. You hear me calling on Peter David.
Yeah.
Because Peter David have always been extremely cautious on controversial issues. And I point out 4 issues today that I think Peter should speak on. The last one was what went on in Parliament. Peter was the most senior member in Parliament after the opposition walkout. And some of the statements that was made Peter should have asked them to withdraw it.
So who does Peter represent in Parliament right now?
Peter represents his movement and his party and himself.
No, his movement is not a registered organization yet?
Caller. Parliament doesn't recognize party. So Peter representing himself. He's not on NNP, not on NDC. But because he is a senior person, when fundamental issues take place, if you were there when children fighting, they would ask, what did you do to stop the fighting? Not so? Not so, caller?
I agree.
Yes, so Peter to speak. Thank you.
Right.
So that is why I call on Peter David. Peter, I have more questions, but I'm going to stop at 5 if you don't answer him. And I'm going to continue to repeat them and hoping some little child will ask you. This 4th one I ask you is why you stay quiet in Parliament. You didn't say anything. You saw the Speaker of the House in collaboration with the Prime Minister was trying to belittle and diminish the significance of the opposition leader. Calling her mother hen. That is a revolutionary language. Eugenia Childs was considered as mother hen. Tam Adams was yard fowl. Siaga was that fascist leader from Jamaica. You saw the same language being used by Deaton. Were you in donkey glory, Peter, when these utterances came from Deaton? Do you not believe, as the most senior person in the house then, you should have shown your seniority and asked that the statements be withdrawn? Peter, I have not heard you on the fiasco that went on in the house. If you are in leadership, we expect leadership to lead. I may never get the opportunity to ask you these questions except publicly, but I'll get the opportunity to ask your supporters. And I'm going to ask them. And I'm going to know based upon how they speak when you answer them. But I expect public explanation. These four I will stay with for a while. As we come to the end of the program and we had our last caller, I'll just refresh them in your mind. You may not be listening to the program, but some of you supporters, close, militant, men of the movement. So one of the questions that I asked was about the Angola option. I think this one is most important, Peter, and it's significant. The Angola option. Children of history should want to know the Angola option. Why? Peter, you must know. You must know. Iwaklen contemplated on 3 occasions to liquidate them. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission. I thought that was the best thing to give us a start. After over 3,000 people were placed in prison, without charge, without trial, without an opportunity to defend themselves. In addition to that, we experienced the worst crimes in Grenada after slavery and colonialism. When you have injustice at that magnitude, it's very difficult to exact justice. That is the necessity for the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Did you contribute to it? Why not? It means, Peter, that you may well have been waiting for an opportunity to exact justice for yourself. Retributive justice. Vengeance. I believe no, because of Deacon's action more than ever. COVID-19, Peter. It was a time when I saw politicians pleading, politicians hid behind the scientists. Every day, they interacted with the public, trying to convince them genuinely to protect themselves. How could you have been in a party, Peter, and stay silent on that occasion? Did you believe in vaccination? Did you take the vaccination for yourself, Peter? Why you did not speak? Why you did not speak? And the issue about the fiasco in the House of Parliament. Why you felt it necessary to stay silent? You was the most senior person that remained in the House. When all hell broke loose in the House, Peter, you did not speak. Were you enjoying the demeaning and insulting language the Prime Minister was putting out? He and the Speaker of the House against the new opposition leader? Was it vengeance, Peter? Please, the public deserve an explanation. We're back with you again tomorrow between 12 and 1, and you have an opportunity to punch. As soon as that 12 bell ring, bang, on target is in town. Thank you very much.
And it's crystal